Welcome, everybody, to Catfish Weekly. Along with James Smith, I'm Lyle Stokes. And James, we're going to have Tim Berger in with us tonight, and we're going to talk about a bunch of all-American catfish tournaments he has coming up this year. I'm Lyle Stokes. And James, we're going to have...
Got an echo.
Yeah, now we don't.
There we go.
Yep. But before we get started, we're going to talk about some of the people that's in chat. We got a load of them in here tonight, James. But I wanted to wish you happy birthday. And everybody in chat has been excited to get on here tonight to tell you happy birthday, and we appreciate that. I know I did when it happened to me. And do you feel any older?
I felt like 190 all the time, but yeah, it's hey, I've never been one to count years. In my mind, I'm still 16 or 18 or whatever, but my body tells me I'm 120, so we'll go with that. And but I do want to thank everybody for the birthday wishes today, because I've got a ton of them. All of you are family, and I consider you that, and we thank you.
Well, it's just another day is the way I look at it, but every one that we get is one shorter than what we're going to have.
Yeah, but a lot longer than the one we had.
That's exactly right. So it all works out really well in the end, and we just hope you had a great day. And I know you had a great day because I know what you had to eat.
Yeah, big 22-ounce T-bone. That's what I laid on my plate today.
Man, that's a load right there. But I remember those days, but it's been a while for I can handle anything like that.
It was a great day. I spent it with my wife and my daughter. So
there you go. Can't beat that with a stick.
No.
Well, what do you say we name off some of these people we got in chat tonight?
I like winter. I see a muskrat, squirrel, Greenwell, the Creole, serving from my home. Mr. Dockery's in the house. I know he'll be stirring up trouble tonight. The Hayes, he probably already is with you, ain't he?
Yo,
Avid, Ernie Brown, Keaton, Gladhill. That's a new one. 3 foot of snow. Woo! They can have that mess.
Yeah, we don't need none of
David Funk. See what you got, Lyle.
We got Mo Creek and Avid and Skip Stewart and Stonefly, Mike Chavez. Carl Wells is in the house tonight fishing with the squirrel. We're just talking about him. Creole, yep. Bill Arnold, Sean Abney, Justin's Fishing Fetish, Outside with the Haze, Mad Catter Catfishing, Mike Lewis, Team Whisker Tickler, Georgia Fisherman. Let's see. There's Fishing with Paula Smith.
I think she just caught a pig, didn't she?
I haven't seen pictures or anything. I've heard a little bit about it, but not very much. There's Brandon Cross, Green Mountain Outdoors, Weekend Angler. Hey, Josh, PD Fishing, Buckeye Catfishing, Carolina Catfishing, Jordan Lear Outdoors, Jade Clemens,
Big Slim 91.
John Boyce Catfishing, Mr. Gadget,
Dale in the house. Guys and gals, we appreciate you coming in and supporting us. You said Stonefly, didn't you? I'm trying to look down through here, see if we missed any. Wayne Smith.
There's just, it's hard to keep up with them all, but we try to get them, and we may go through this after. There's Ray Smith. Always great to have Ray in the house.
There's my friend Glenn.
There's Chunky.
Yep.
Cody Myers.
1 ton. They coming down to the tournament and going to be sitting on the bank, Lyle, putting the lines out in the water. 2 old vets. I love that name.
I do too. Buckeye, I think we said that. Cody Trippett. I actually watched one of them in the boat today with a guy fishing, and I watched quite a bit of it, which I'm not a fan of them big, long streams, and I usually don't watch them for any extended period of time, but they was really good today. They caught a few fish and had a wonderful time, and it was good to see them in the boat. So they actually talked a little bit about if they could get in a boat with somebody down there, that they would do that, but they sure didn't want to take the place of a veteran, which I thought was a great thing to talk about, because nobody wants to do that.
Right.
There's Ernie Brown.
Thomas Littlepage. I think that's
Roger.
I think that Thomas Littlepage, if I'm not mistaken, he can correct me. Ain't that the husband of the new lady that's coming in, got her channel, Serena
I believe it is. There's Dale Hayslip, the fishing magician, Big Mike, Mike Irvin, Epic, Wayne Smith, Mark with Catfish and Crappie, Maurice Kaysen. Well, I don't want to forget Maurice. He watches everybody's show. Always good to have him in there.
Mr. Twisted in the house with us tonight. Guys and gals, please don't forget, if you see new names in there, check out their page, share up the bait, share up the love. There's Maxie Cat in here, Skip's Tour.
Yep. Twisted Fishing.
Fans and finds. Wonder what he's finding. I'll tell you what he's finding. I know he's pretty good. His name is Bob. He lives in Springfield, and he also does looks for stuff with those what do you call them damn things? Magnets?
No. Can't think of what they call them. Anyhow, they run them around the ground looking for coins and
metal detectors.
Metal detectors. Yeah, he's got some of those and got a lot of really cool videos out. If you get a chance, go out and
check him out.
Check his stuff out. We're right here. We're a national battlefield, near a national battlefield. But he's got I believe it's a nephew that lives down south someplace that finds some amazing old coins. It's really cool stuff. There's Mike Irvin, half crazy. There's D. Glad to have all you folks in here. I hope we didn't miss too many. If we did, we'll try. There's Glenn, Georgia Fisherman. We'll try to catch up with you some more. There's Catfish Bill 66. Man, it's flying tonight.
Yeah, Dave Swearington.
Always good to have Dave.
Yeah.
Lynn Leeper.
So
we talked about Dave the other day and about having him here a while back. It's been quite a while now. Having him back talking about the insurance deals on boats. That was a great show we done. So, Dave, if you're interested in doing that again at some point, let me know. David Martin, JP3. It was a great show, and I think that's something that people need to be aware of, and maybe we can do that.
Say, Wampus Cat joined us.
Wampus Cat, my man. Calls me out every once in a while. I'm so glad to visit with him. I don't know why that does that, but I see a guy posted a guy's name, John Boyer or something, and it always has to be approved. And it doesn't seem to matter what feed it's in. So
yeah, I seen that.
All right. Well, without further ado, let's get Tim in here and talk about some catfish tournaments in Missouri.
Yeah. Hey, everybody. Thanks for having me.
How you doing, buddy?
Good. Staying warm and out here in freezing.
In the house. I know what it's like outside.
But yeah, it's still good.
I think I told you earlier before the show started, we done a little test run, and the physical therapy lady come by today for my last episode of physical therapy, and the roads are so slick, she would come down our driveway and slid out in the yard, and when she backed out, she was all over trying to get back out, and she hit the street, and it just, the front end, I thought it was going to end up in the ditch on the other side, but it luckily didn't. And we've continually had that crap all day long, and it's getting colder, so it ain't going nowhere.
No, I think we're supposed to get a little more, aren't we? Something.
That's what they say. That's just what we need. So we'll see how that works out. But
yeah, but it's good. And it looks like chat's busy. I'm just watching all these.
Yes, it is.
So hi, everybody in chat. Thanks for joining on with everybody.
Well, I hate to see Epic leave, but he says he's got to go, so I understand how that is.
Sure.
But I did see Josh's wife in here. That's definitely the better part of that. There's Michael Murillo, too.
There's Mad Catters, and Tim puts on amazing tournaments and always has great food.
Hey, bring an appetite this year. We're going to have some food.
Nobody does food at tournaments like you do. Well, where did you guys come up with that idea?
So there's a mix there. So part of it was when I was tournament fishing, there was always tension, right? We all know everyone's competitive. They've been up. They're frustrated because they didn't, for most people, it doesn't pan out the way you want it to. And one thing that breaks that down is food. People like to eat. It brings people together.
Yep.
What I did in the military in the Middle East, I worked a lot with the local civilians there, is what we call them spheres of influence. So those SOIs, we work with them a lot, and a lot of these are some tribes that don't get along, and then there's the coalition that doesn't get along. So my team would go there and orchestrate some of these meetings, and food. We did a feast together and get all these tribal leaders together in the coalition, and in some cases State Department guys. We pull them in there, and everyone has a good time eating, and they talk, and you can talk over food. You can have a good conversation. So that remind me we can do something and break the ice and bring people together with the food. But also when I tournament fish, I hated stopping to get food on the way back. You got your boat, you got all your equipment. You don't want to run inside and eat and worry about it. You don't want to leave your partner out there, although I don't mind leaving my partner out watching the truck. But, we didn't want to do that. So I was like, hey, let's get these guys something so they can grab and go when they launch. They can have a cold drink or coffee. So during registration, and COVID last year kind of derailed us a little bit. But typically at registration, you have coffee and cold drinks, cocoa for the kids or whatever, donuts and grab snacks, packs that they can take with them. When they come back in, we have pulled pork, sandwiches, things like that, hot dogs, chili dogs. If it's a night event for that morning, we'll have biscuits and gravy and, and coffee and everything. And we're there all day. So they can come get stuff. And we have families baking cookies and lemon bars. And it just brings everyone together, and standing around people eating and having a good time or sitting at the tables, it really changes the atmosphere for the positive.
It kind of makes you forget the bad day if you had one, and lets you be able to share the good day with others if you had one of those. So worked out. Here's a thing in chat that I think is important that we talk about, James. Dale Hayslip says, thanks for your service, Tim. So many people forget, not just Tim, but a lot of other guys that have been in the military and done so many good things. I know how important that is to you, James.
Yes,
I really
sir.
do.
It's an honor.
When I go through chat and I get bits and pieces of chat because it's flying, we don't see it all, and it's not because I don't want to say hello to Betty or whoever it is. It's just that we miss so much of it when it goes that fast. But when I catch one and it wants to thank Tim for his service, to me that's extremely important that we talk about. And Tim, thank you for all that you've done.
And thank you. And you know what? It's service is one thing, but it's the support you get and you keep getting. That's what's great. Everyone, the guys like that in the chat, other people, you guys, it's that really means a lot. Is the troops that come back that know they were supported and they're constant. It's a good thing. So we appreciate it.
We just can't talk about it enough, and we do talk about it a lot, but it would never be enough. But we appreciate everything that you and Dave and all the guys and gals in the military have done for us over all the years. I mean, it's since the beginning of the United States of America. So
I got three brothers. That's my uncles that actually served in Nam at the same time, and hear the stories of the way that them boys was treated when they come home.
Unbelievable.
Breaks your heart. Fins and Fines, thank you very much, sir, for that. My friend Tim, thank you. And anybody that's in there that's veterans, we thank you for your service. And we'll always salute you and take our hats off to you. And we'll even buy you lunch if we run into you.
You better believe it. Mr. Melhorn Hello, Dieter. How you doing? I tell you, Tim, I'm going to tell you something that most people won't believe. And if I didn't have so much crap between me and that wall, my dad passed away in 1973. I was 15. His World War II uniform is right there.
Oh, yeah.
Right here in my house with me every day. So,
yeah, I don't have. It's one thing I don't have. I don't have like my war. I don't have any of that stuff hung up anywhere. And not to be disrespectful or anything, but my uniforms are probably in one of my duffel bags out there.
Now, here's the $64,000 question: can you still fit in them?
He did ask you
I
that.
have to look trying to fit. I can get my arm made part of it probably.
Now, Tim, I think we were just talking about that a little while ago. I think he set you up for that, didn't he?
Maybe we should talk about fishing tournaments a little bit. What you got coming up first off out of the gate this year, Tim?
So this year, we're having the Tournament of Champions, and the Tournament of Champions, our Tournament of Champions that we hold, is open to anyone. We have some criteria, catch and release tournament, fishing from the all-out fishing activities from a boat, things like that. And you have to have won money. So it doesn't matter what series you fished in, as long as you've won money and you meet those general requirements, you can email us, and it's catfish@outlook.com, or message me and I'll get you the email. But email us, we'll add your name to the list, and then you can register and fish. And it's just for people who've won money. We do, for safety reasons, allow someone who didn't win money to be in the boat with them. But it's 100% payout to the top 3 teams. So it's really for the anglers. We're going to kick our season off with that. We have people from 4 or 5 different series right now that are signed up and registered for it. When it comes to registration for all of our events, we're a little bit different than everybody else. We have our website, allamericancatfish.com, and you have 2 options to register. You can pay a placeholder, which is only 25% of the fee, and that gets you in there on the list. That's your launch order. Or you can pay the full price and still get the same spot, and then just pay the rest at the time. And why we do that is a lot of tournaments throw their schedules out the first of the year, and this gives the guys a chance to say, look, I'll get my placeholder one and I'll pay the rest later, or I can sign up for, rather than sign up for one for $200, I can sign up for 4 or 5, it just makes it easier on them, and they can plan a little bit better without breaking the bank.
Right.
So on our website, they'll see the PayPal links for each one of the events. You have a placeholder, full pay. So we have Tournament Champions, and that's some good competition. There's a lot of good people signed up to be there. They haven't pre-registered yet, but that's okay. They can register day of. And right now we don't have a late fee for registering the day of. So that helps people. We may have to go to that if COVID is still a big issue later in the season, because some of the locations don't want registration tables, things like that. As of right now, that may change. And then we kick off our regular season, so that one's 100% payout. But we have several on our page, and we have them all listed. But then in April we have a charity event. So we have other events going on there, but one of the charity events I wanted to talk about or mention tonight, I forgot to mention it earlier, is our Reeling for Lefty. And even our charity events that we do are still in our points race. Our Tournament Champions is not a points race one, because that represents everyone who competed last year. That season's over. But all our other ones, even though we are helping out with charity events, the payout's still the same as a regular tournament. The points are still the same as a points race tournament. We just give all our proceeds to that charity or that person. And so our Reeling for Lefty, we're helping with that one there. A family, Dustin and Nora Johnson, they got it set up. We helped them a little bit last year, and this year we're helping them a little bit more. They'll get all the proceeds for that charity. It's on our page, and that one is May 8th. We have, like I said, we have other ones prior to that, but May 8th is that one. And then another good one, which is it's not necessarily a charity, but it's for the veterans of foreign wars, and it's the Gold Star Catfish Tournament. And Gold Star family, for those who don't know, is a family who's lost a service member while they're on duty. And this is a scholarship, a $500 scholarship is what we're trying to give out. So if we raise $1,500, 3 kids are going to get that $500 scholarship, help them with books or something. 100% of our proceeds goes to the VFW post, 11234, and that's at Perry Lake. So if it appeals to lake people and river guys. And our Tournament Champions, one thing I forgot to mention, that's on the Missouri River in Lexington, Missouri. That's March 20th. Our VFW Gold Star tournament's May 23rd at Perry Lake in Kansas. Again, even though they get all that for the anglers, it's still a competitive tournament for them. It's still something they can go out there. We're going to have some things on display. We're gathering some one-off sponsors for that. The VFW are raising sponsors. We got another veterans group, Kansas Vets Outdoors, the events group, is going to help out and be there too. So this particular one, this VFW Gold Star, that's another one we want to stand alone. I mean, our series is facilitating it, but it's it's not our series per se. It's for the VFW. It's for those Gold Star family scholarships, and we want to grow this one big. And that Perry Lake has got some nice fish in it. I mean, it's a good blue lake. Good, it's got channels all over. But people are going to start hearing more and more about Perry Lake and their blues. Let's see here. Then we go right after that one is our Heartland Challenge. And again, we have other events, but these are just the ones we're highlighting. The Heartland Challenge is May 29th in Caw Point, Kansas City, Kansas. That event, we have $10,000 added to it. That's $10,000 added to the pot. It's not $10,000 for first place or second. It's $10,000 added to the payout, which everyone's entries go toward that payout. We still run it the same way. We gave a breakdown what that would look like. We are set. We capped that at 80 boats right now. So I think 40-something boats are pre-registered for that. So we're almost halfway there, or 39 maybe, 39 or 40 pre-registered for that. So we're about halfway there. And again, capped at 80 boats, $10,000 added money. That's a good payout.
Yes, it is. That's a great payout.
And since it's not dedicated to first place, that's a lot of people down the line that are going to have some nice, good payouts. And we pay one every ninth spot.
And that's in some of the greatest catfishing waters there is in the United States.
Some good blues out there, some flatheads, and these guys do really good. So you got where this is at. For people who don't know, you got the Kansas River and the Missouri River. So you got two rivers to fish. We are going to launch really early in the morning. It'll be a controlled launch, and the speeds will be, briefed, and then they'll have plenty of travel time. So they're not launching right at fishing time. They'll have time to travel, and we'll control that to mitigate it because there'll be limited visibility, and we'll cover all that in the captain's meeting the night before. And where we're having the captain's meeting, it's at a barbecue location. We'll announce that here in the next couple of weeks. These guys are looking forward to the Wild Calcutta auction, and these guys that run the barbecue, they compete in barbecues, and they know how to run out Calcuttas. They said they'd help us, and it'll be a good time. But there's still more to come on our series. When you go to our page, All American Catfish Tournaments on Facebook, right at the top of the heading there, the cover photo for the group lists all our tournaments, and we try to keep everyone informed. We're not the typical tournament series. We like to be fun, have a good time, and take care of the anglers.
And eat.
And these guys like to eat. They like their food. We do too.
Well, Tim, I want to salute you for that. To be that standout type of tournament, guys that actually give back to the community and to others. But when you mentioned the Gold Star family support, that's my hat's off to you, my friend. Thank you.
That's really a cool deal. Really, really is a cool. That's the first time I've ever heard anybody do anything like that. And I believe that there should be. It's like the deal that James does out there only once a year. There should be more of them across the United States. And I know he's told me he'd like to see more of them. The same way with what you're doing with this Gold Star stuff. It shouldn't just be you. There should be tournament directors throughout the United States that put these kind of tournaments on, and not worry about how much they're going to make, but how much they can donate back to the people that gave so much.
Yeah, and we don't make anything. We have, right now we're sitting at 3 events. We're not making a dime on. We're not touching them.
Right.
I'll put buying the Lamborghini off till next year, but
Yeah, most of the time, Tim, usually we go in the hole putting them on.
Yeah, no doubt about it.
That's right.
And we'll never complain one bit because the good Lord's blessed me, and I know He's blessed you, Tim and Lyle. And if we don't give back, sooner or later we'll have to mess with that Miss Karma. And Miss Karma's mean. She pretty freaking mean, and she meaner than I am. I don't know about y'all guys, but she meaner than I am, and I'd rather stay on the good side of her.
Yeah, she's related to my ex-wife, so yeah.
But yeah, the Gold Star family, if ever tournament series out there would take just one tournament and pick a family and do that for, it would really change. It wouldn't just change that family. It would change the outlook of the people that fish that tournament.
That's right.
Right. And the VFW, and like I said, we planned on doing it last year, and COVID hit, and we said, let's stop it. We have some World War II veterans in that VFW post. You have Vietnam veterans, and no one's getting any younger. So we said, let's do it this year. And so we did. And, if the other tournament series, they could do that. They could work with their American Legions.
Yes.
Anything. It's not proprietary to us. The more the merrier,
Right.
And that's, and we would advertise it. That's one thing we do on our page is we advertise other events for other series on our page.
Right.
We're not shy about it.
I know Southeastern does one for a kids tournament, raising awareness and gets the kids out on the boats. They also do a veterans come fish with them. So kudos to them.
Yeah, exactly.
That's setting the standard right there, guys.
Yeah, it's a good point. And there's a lot of people, to be honest, there's a lot of people who do things for veterans that aren't real visible.
Right.
So there's tournament series out there that donate and things, and they get contact, and they're not advertising it out. There's a lot of support, and we want to keep giving that support ourselves.
Well, and I agree with that to a certain extent, but sometimes I think we've got a platform like right here on Catfish Weekly that can bring awareness where awareness needs to be brought to.
Yeah.
Tim, what was the last tournament that you was talking about with the $10,000 added? What was the date on that? And
that would be the May 29th. It's Memorial Day weekend.
May 29th.
And the
1 day or two?
It's a 1 day, and it's a good point. So I was just getting ready to say, we will probably, so next year our tournament series is going to look a little different if things go the way we want, and we'll probably make this one a 2-day event, and we'll set it up to where people have time to travel back and everything over the weekends and stuff like that. That event, that Heartland Challenge this year, is a 1-day event. We're going to have security in the parking lot. We're going to have security at the hotel. We're getting ready to post that hotel information. There was some quirkiness that we needed to address with them, and we'll get that posted out there. The biggest thing I wanted is security. I want someone working that parking lot who's got a financial incentive to do the right job. And
right,
the security company we use, they're off-duty law enforcement, so they have from the local area, so they have the ability to enforce the law right then when they see it, not just observe and report.
Right,
they can enforce it right then.
Good. That's getting it done right there.
Mm-hmm.
That's getting it done.
That makes guys feel better that come in with their boats, and they might be tired from a long travel or whatever to it, and might forget to grab something off of their boat, and they can feel pretty secure. I mean, you can't secure 100%, but it does make them feel better that maybe they'll sleep pretty decent the night before. I know it's hard to sleep the night before a tournament anyway. So
it is.
Yeah, most guys don't. They're sneaking around the halls, trying to pacing and tying.
Yeah, out, running around out in the parking lot, thinking, "Why can I not go to sleep?"
Mm-hmm.
You just can't, But
that time of year is really good on both those rivers and those stretches there. It's not too hot yet, and the fish are active, and we grow this one again, and that's what we've done the last few years is moved around, tested different things. we've always anchored in Kansas City and made the investment in Kansas City because there's so many tournament series in this area. You know, you got several different tournament series in this area, north of us, south of us, east and west of us. And so we don't need to saturate it anymore, but we're the only ones in Kansas City. So, you know, we can promote some of those other ones and our guys can go fish those, and that's fine. If we can get a good solid anchor with some good added money events in Kansas City and down south in Cheney, which outside of Wichita, then in Lexington, you know, that's what we're going to do. And we have a lot of fun going down to Cheney fishing that with those guys. Some great people down there. I mean, they're just a blast. And not that there's not good people in Kansas City. There's good people around here too. But we've only started going down there the last couple of years, and we've had fun every single time. It's a good. That lake itself is really nice. So you'll be hearing about that one more too.
Good. I'm excited. It looks like a heck of a year for you, and of course we're always pulling for you guys, and we know how good a tournament you put on. So it's exciting to see some of this stuff that you've come up with this year, and be excited with you for having these events.
Yep. Yeah. On your tournaments that you do, like your charities for your veterans and the Gold Stars, do the towns that you're putting out usually get behind y'all on something like that, or is it?
So I'm a little bit different how I approach that. Is if it's brand new, we haven't done before, I like to get the first one out of the way before we start approaching too many places.
Right.
Then we can go back and show. We've had events in this location before, but we want to see this develop a little bit more, get a good structure, and get some good imagery, and then we'll go back and we'll talk to them about raising a little bit more and work with them and their different committees to make sure they budget it correctly. There's a lot of uncertainty with COVID right now, and it's extremely difficult. So we don't want to compound the problem. These are long-term relationships that we want with these locations, so we'll do it. We'll slowly but steady get there.
Yeah, after the show, I'd like to talk to you a little bit, if you don't mind, about some of this stuff.
Yeah.
That might help me along and how to approach things. So, thank you.
Yeah, no sweat. Yeah, we're looking forward to it. I mean, the VFW guys are pretty excited about it. There's going to be some ceremony there, and it'll be fun. And we're going to have some displays set up, and hopefully have some good equipment out there. It'll be fun. It'll be good. But the fishing, that's fishing.
I got one more question. I'll let Lyle take over because I know y'all got some stuff to cover on this. Do you fish in your own tournament?
No.
You don't have time, do you?
I wouldn't anyway.
Okay, I mean, I just wondered. Some do and some don't. That's why I was asking.
Yeah, no, I don't.
I mean, I wouldn't have time, so I don't, that's why I was asking. I know y'all probably busy as crap beforehand, so.
Someone's got to guard the food.
Right, that's true.
From guys like me? Yeah. Do you guard it, or you sit there and babysit it and sample it? That's the question.
Well, it's a little mixture of both, because I pride myself on being the quality control. And,
I can relate to that.
Edible, good and edible.
Well, I've had some of Uzi's cooking before, so I know it's usually pretty good. And now with something else that's in the works coming on, I know that's going to even be improved upon. Yeah,
these guys are, and I haven't announced it yet, but yeah, like I said, we got something in the works for the guys. They're going to have to bring an appetite next year.
I might just show up for that.
You're invited.
2 old vets said, "Don't let one ton flood the food."
Yeah, it's going to be a good year. We got several events out of Kansas City, and if people don't know the location and they don't know the rivers, I'm always available. I can take you, and we can get on your boat, and I can go up to Kansas with you and show you the hazard areas and mark them. That's not a problem for me. Just do it prior to the event, not like the day before, but a couple weeks before, or something like that. Whatever. But it's we'll be watching the rivers, and we'll be watching the COVID stuff, and we do think it's going to start, lightening up here by the time those events start developing.
Well, I really hope so for everybody in the fishing industry's part. It would be great if it did, to where we can have more of the events that everybody planned on having. A lot of them was canceled last year, especially early in the year, and rightfully so. I'm not taking anything away from that. And there was some that was held that probably shouldn't have been. I'm going to just throw that out there, but that's not my decision to make. One of the things that I want to ask you, and I think that scares a few people off, is the Missouri River. The Missouri River is a fickle old woman, and she will bite you if you let her, but it's really no worse than a lot of other rivers throughout the United States if you pay attention to it. One of the things you must pay attention to it on that river, and I'm not sure in that area because I've not been that far up the Missouri, but is wing dikes. Are there a lot of wing dikes on the Missouri River up in that area?
Yeah, so the flooding wiped out a lot of them. The river is low enough now you see them real clear, most of them real clear. A lot of the imagery now, their cards show those wing dikes on there. Navonic shows them on there.
Right.
So they, those wing dikes, it's a fishing strategy for a lot of guys. Fishing the water seam right off them, fishing behind them, bait stacking up, things like that. Fishing the channel swings, the bends.
I do.
A lot of that stuff, but there's that time of year, I'd expect a lot of these guys out bumping, and they're going to be bumping. There's, it's good that, I believe in anchoring is fishing myself. I have bumped, but I've caught more fish anchored. But the guys with me, it's got some, the first time Eddie Henney went out bumping to really focus on it, he landed a 60-something pound blue, up there just north of where we'd launched from. And, there's some nice fish out there, and the guys catch them, land them bumping, and they land them anchoring. And, it's just your style. But yeah, the wing dikes are there. You can see them right now. By that time, it just depends how much water we got, if you could see them or not. But most of the navigation systems now show that, and they show the channel.
Well,
one of the things about them wing dikes is to see those, you have to enlarge that enough that you see that little line coming out from the bank. And a lot of times it'll come out from the bank and it'll go down the river. And it depends on which way your card is. It may be this way. But if it shows you that, or 3 or 4 of them stretched out in a row, them are wing dikes, and pay attention to them if you've not been in that area. And they will hold fish. Certain times a year more than others, but they're like dams. They're one of the larger structure items, and more of them in that waterway. Although now I understand that they're not going to continue to maintain the ones on the Missouri for lack of barge traffic. That's okay. They're still there. And if they're under the water, you sure want to make sure, because you'll get a lower unit just pretty easily.
Well, and I was thinking, Lyle, while y'all was sitting there talking about it, Google Earth has a thing on there where you can go back in the timeline. And you can see it at low water time. And if you can correspond that to your navionics and go in there and mark them, then you know for sure exactly what that thing looks like before you ever get there.
That's exactly right.
Everybody use all the tools in your toolbox.
Yep. Because there is some great fish on that Missouri River. There really is. And I can tell you why. And people can debate this and argue with it. I've fished that Missouri River a lot for a lot of years. These guys that are catching fish on there and considered experts now was pooping yellow when I started fishing it. So I'm telling you right now, back in those days, those big fish wasn't in the Missouri River. And the reason they wasn't in there was because it was commercial fished to death. And they stopped that several years ago on the Missouri River, and you can tell the difference. There is giant fish in the Kansas City area, which you never used to hear people talking about, big fish in the Kansas City area. And they catch 90 and hundreds pound fish up there every year now, and they didn't used to do that when it was commercial fish because they was all caught out. And from where the Missouri comes in on the west side, to where it enters the Mississippi on the right side, all through the state of Missouri. There is no commercial fishing, and there is giant fish throughout that entire section of the Missouri River.
But I got a question about the wing dams. And I know y'all hear everybody talking about the leading edge on the outside and fishing behind them. But there's also an eddy right in the very corner on the front. Does anybody ever fish them spots?
Oh, sure.
Because there's an eddy right there.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, some guys fish all different ones, so they fish for different things there. And guys, I was talking to someone, and they're talking about they use their live scope down in there behind those dikes.
Yeah.
How big the drum are. They're like a huge drum are out there. They were shocked to see them all.
For James Dockery, that is silver cats.
You keep those whiskers on it right now. But
well, I mean, I've never heard anybody talk about that, and I just thought, well, maybe it's just too dangerous to be around over in that area.
It's not. And
I didn't know.
Again, this depends on current. It depends on the time of year, water temperature. Wing dikes are a great place to fish if you didn't fish nothing else, but you have to understand which part of the wing dike, what time of the year, what the water temperature is, how much the current flow is.
Right.
Yeah,
there's certain ones that'll hold fish, and there's certain ones that will never have a fish on it, doesn't seem like, and they change.
Yeah, and there's flats out there. I mean, it's, for lake guys that don't fish rivers, you say, man, I'm not getting out on that river. They hear all the horror stories. Well, it's any body of water you got to respect.
That's
you
right.
got to learn it. And do your due diligence, and you're going to be fine. I learned my catfishing on the Missouri and Kansas rivers, not necessarily on lakes. I trout, bass fish and things like that on lakes, most crappie and all that back in the day. But, the river, you just pay attention and do your homework a little bit, and it can pay dividends. The guys who put the effort in, they work for their fish, but they land some nice ones. I mean, Justin Thornton, a few years ago, one of our first weigh-ins, I think it was the Icebreaker, was 185 pounds. They brought in their fish and 180, I think it was 183.5 pounds, something like that. And they had lost bigger fish, so that's just what they brought in. They're out there, and last year we didn't have them in Kansas City because of the COVID, but that's why I was going back a couple of years. So last year, they had 2 years of flood years, and then last year there was no tournaments there. So these fish are getting caught, and we've seen people catch several fish in the 90s a couple times now. You see like Eddie Henney or Adam Funk and Eddie Henney caught that one 90-something pounds, 96 pounds. A few months later last year, Lydia Lell, another 96-pound one. Joel Roberts, he's got a couple in the 90s. Kyle Kohler, again, 90s. And he would have broke 100 if he didn't wait, and that thing puked up that big carp.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. But he puts on tournaments too, so he won that wow factor at the weigh-in. It cost him, 6 pounds or whatever, but there's big fish here. There's no doubt about it. Look at Catfish Chasers, or Bradley Young, they won it, and they caught their big fish in the first 20, 25 minutes of the event, and it's 100-something pounds worth of fish. There's big fish out here. There's really big fish.
Yeah,
so,
there is, and more every year, seems like.
Man,
so it's
nice to get away the carp and the fish, wouldn't it?
It happens.
You pull that out, you look in that live well, you see that carp sitting there like, gosh, dang it.
Yeah, no doubt.
Hey, it's
It
fishing.
is amazing what them things will leave in a live well. It really is.
Yeah, and the bait's easy to get. Right now, the Kansas River is really, really low, so no one's fishing it right now. But and it's icing over in some spots anyway. But here next month, it's going to start warming up, and the fish will be running, and then through May, it's going to be on fire. So that's a good time frame for that event. Again, $10,000 added money to an 80-boat cap, and the parks are going to help us with parking, and we're going to have security, and we're going to have the food's already planned out. And
I'm interested in that for sure.
Yeah.
That food's going to be great. The tournament's going to be wonderful, but the food's going to be better yet.
Yeah, I'm looking forward to food.
Yeah, I bet you are.
Now, how do you run y'all's weigh-in on your tournaments?
So we prefer that they keep their fish in the boat, in the live well, and then they pull up in front of us. We give them the bucket, and the team. We prefer only that team touch their fish, and then bring it over. And we weigh the big fish first. We have a weigh-in slip, and this year we're looking to get some new scales. There's some regulations on the scales and how they have to print and stuff like that. All ours can do that. That's not an issue. This year, I think we're going to go ahead and just get that printer. And I know, Cabela's got some things to announce on that too, but we're going to go ahead and get that printer, get it hooked up. So that way we have a weigh slip. So we tally how many fish they're weighing in, what their big fish was, and what their total weight was. We sign it, we give them a copy, and we keep a copy of it. This year, we should be able to print off that weight and give it to them too. So that's their official weight on certified scales. It'll make it a little more fun. It's not, my handwriting's so freaking sloppy, so the printer will be a little bit more presentable.
So in the area you fishing, is it like what Lyle's talking? Y'all not allowed to tag fish?
We don't tag them ourselves. When we fish out of Claw Point the last couple of years, the conservation guys were there, and they'd show up, and we'd have our weigh in, and they're right next to the river. As the fish are getting ready to release, they tagged all the bluefish. They just got through this big comprehensive study. I can forward it to you guys too.
But now that is in Kansas. That
was in Kansas.
Right.
Their study went through Missouri though too.
Okay.
So I believe it was Nebraska, Kansas, and Missouri, and he's he is Quentin Dean was his name who did it, and is working with the KDWP there, and it's very comprehensive. But they tagged fish for I think 10 or 11 events out there.
Dang right, that's cool.
That is cool.
That's cool knowing that you caught a big fish, that it is being tagged, and maybe you can look on there one day and somebody else done caught your fish.
Yeah. Well, some of the guys have caught the fish that were tagged at our events, recreational fishing.
That's neat.
Yeah, pretty cool. Mm-hmm.
I mean, they give you a list of the numbers that they start with and end with, so you'll know those numbers fall within that range, or?
No, they do all the tagging. They keep their numbers separate from us and everything else in form. If they catch a tagged fish, they just have a number to call and report the number, and then they'll tell them when it was tagged and the history on it, things like that.
Right. Cool. Didn't mean to interrupt, guys.
No, you're good.
No problem.
That's something I'm going to offer with my tournament. Any fish over 40 pounds, we're going to tag. But here in North Carolina, we can tag them ourselves and attach their name to it. So, somewhere down the road, they might get an email saying, hey, your fish was caught. And they might be from like Lyle. Lyle might tag a fish over here in North Carolina, might get an email a year from now that the fish he caught during the tournament gets caught. So it's just kind of a little incentive.
I bet that Cape Fear's got quite a few over 40 in it.
Oh yeah. All our rivers are good in North Carolina, and they're getting better. Wiley, the lake we fishing, it's becoming a daggum flathead hole, buddy.
Oh, nice.
They still catching flatheads right now.
Oh, nice. Yeah,
that would be nice.
There was one, 2.5 weeks ago, a 47.9 caught in about 3 foot of water.
Yeah, well, there's some big flatheads on the Kansas and Missouri.
Yeah,
there's some nice ones. These guys know what they're doing. They're better at it than I am. They know what they're doing out there.
Now, do y'all do a live weigh-in or anything so people can watch y'all do your weigh-ins?
Yeah, we try to. Some of the locations, now COVID was a little bit different because it just brings people out, so we didn't do a whole lot of live feeds with the COVID stuff going on. But next year we plan on doing it. It's part of the agreement. So Visit Kansas City, Kansas is, we'll get to the sponsors at the end, but they're the ones we're working with and we have been working with the last few years. And we, one of our things we let them know is we do shows like this. We want to do a live show from there. We want a live feed from there. We want people, and why we call it the Heartland Challenge to begin with is guys from the Heartland go all over, out east, out south, to go fish and compete. Well, we want people to start coming here too.
Yes.
So get them to come here and invest in coming here. We need to have the right amount of money. So this year we're getting $10,000. We're not asking people to show up for free, but so this year, we had that 10,000 extra added money. Hopefully that'll be a lot more next year, and we'll start bringing these guys in come up here and fish our waters, because everyone goes down there and fish those waters too, and let people start traveling and enjoy themselves. But going to a destination where there's things to do too. In Kansas City, when you're fishing in Claw Point, you're downtown Kansas City. You're not that far from the Legends. There's or the Sprint Center and the Power and Light District. There's things to do around there, and that's what we want. We want to bring people in here and test them out in some new waters and test them out against the competition. They're coming to see them, in these other locations. Have fun doing it.
Yeah, there's everything that you can think of to do in Kansas City.
Yeah.
I mean, it just is. I mean, whatever kind of nightlife you want to participate in, it's there. If you want to watch sports, they got it. If you want to catch fish, they got every kind of fish there is to catch within driving distance of wherever you're at. So
that's right.
It's all right there. And I used to go up there and shoot a lot. There's some of the greatest trap shooting areas anywhere right up there. So I don't remember exactly. I think it's Smithville Lake, but I'm not sure that's right.
Smithville had one. There was it Powder Creek over there? And Shawnee's got another one, another good range of skeet shooting competitions. Yeah, there's a lot. I mean, that's one thing about Kansas City is you can be as fast as you want or as slow as you want. It's got everything. All kinds of great food, great entertainment.
Yep.
There's stuff for the families to do.
They have a great zoo.
Yeah, I mean, there's the great zoo. That's huge. You got NASCAR, you got football, baseball, you got concerts. You got all kinds of live music. You got casinos all around us. So it's good. And like I say, the fishing's there. And hopefully we'll grow this. And that's the intent of all of our events, is to grow them to where it's worth people's while to come out. They get, they fish it, they win some good money. They see where their entry fees going with the food and the drinks and things like that, with the trophies and the plaques they get. We want to do things a little bit different. We want to reward them for supporting our trail, and that's the best way we can think of right now.
That's exactly right. Go ahead, James.
Can I hit on a little something that I seen in chat? I don't remember who asked it. They said that if only catfish tournaments would pay out like bass tournaments. And I don't know if people really realize the cost to enter a bass tournament.
They don't.
It is not cheap. And without sponsorships, the everyday fisherman could not afford to fish that type of tournament, period.
A lot of them bass tournaments are $5,000 and $10,000 entry fees.
Yes,
a lot of them are. Some of them more than that.
I go to a convention, or have the last couple of years. Last year was canceled. It's a sports convention for event planners, and Kansas City's sponsored me to go to it last couple times. One of the guys there, he really helped out in the bass community and about these events and things like that. And he thought it was pretty unique that someone from catfishing was there putting on some water events, which is that you don't typically see in that type of setting. But he was just talking about that, what the expenses are for them at that level, not just the regional ones, but just all around, the travel, all the expenses, and what the city's paying them. And some of those CVBs that we talked to, when they talk about what the bass teams get, or the bass host event planners get to have their events there, it's a very large amount. I can say this, all the money we get for these events, we're using. It's the Heartland Challenge will be the first one that we have. We've already told people we got $10,000 added money. That's between sponsors and the city. We have some money set aside to pay for the security, things like that. And that's the first time. Otherwise, it's a dollar for dollar. From all added money goes to the anglers. This one, I think the anglers would appreciate having added security there. So we set some aside and we don't use it all. It goes back into the pot, But for those events, there's a lot more money behind the scenes expenses and things like that the anglers don't see. So it's not necessarily a good comparison.
That's right.
Most of the catfishing guys, what they pass on to the anglers.
Right.
Carl
But
Wells
my question is,
Carl Wells makes a great point too, that talking to bass tournament guys every day he lives in Texas, that you'd be surprised at how many people never heard of a catfish tournament.
right.
And it's getting better. That's getting better, but there's still a lot of people that don't know that there is even catfish tournaments held, because when you say fishing tournament, they only think of two, crappie and bass, unless you're from the North Country, and then it's walleye and bass. Right. So.
But my question is, do you want catfishing to be as big as bass?
I always
But the reason I'm saying is that you can catch bass on about any bank on the daggum lake. Bass is so scattered out. Do you want 10,000 people on your home lake out catfishing on a weekend that you want to go catfishing and you can't find a hole to put a bait in?
Well, I'll tell you what, money and in the tournaments has brought in the undesirables, the people that don't even fish, that are running organizations and tournaments and stuff that should never have been a part of fishing. And they're not making it for the better, regardless of what they claim or what's being said. It's people that's never been fishing or only went with a guy so he said he could have caught one once, or running stuff that should never been allowed to do that. And they're ruining the sport as a fishing sport as it is now.
But that's why people like Tim keeping it on the up and up, Southeastern keeping it on the up and up. They are the ones that sets the examples for all the rest of them to say, I don't want to be part of this trash. I want to be over here with this man. We know what he's saying is true. And I want my kids to watch this tournament. I want my grandkids to be part of this tournament sooner or later, because them's the ones that's going to be running the tournaments for long, Tim.
That's right.
We got to hand it down to somebody.
That's right.
Well, it's funny. We're talking about bass tournaments and catfish tournaments. We are sponsoring a high school girls bass team this year.
Hey, nothing wrong with
Good
that.
for you. Because next year maybe they want to get into catfishing.
Yeah, that's what we've taken them catfishing before, but Jeremy Beecham is their coach, and he's we're helping them. I've known their mom forever, since the kids were born. But but these girls want to compete against the boys, and to your point, they knew about bass fishing, and then when they reach out to me, they're like, oh yeah, what about the catfishing? So we took them catfishing, but yeah, that's all they knew. That's all was there was catfishing, bass fishing. So now, we said, hey, you get into catfishing, and as eager as you girls are, and and focused, they can do well in this sport. But to how big do I want catfishing to be? Big enough that it grows new people, attracts new people. But I deliberately, we could have got there's other locations that have 100+ boats events, and that's great. That's great for them. We capped ours at 80 because we wanted parking to be manageable. Max it out, but be manageable. And 80 is good for us because I think I can treat everybody good, put on a good event for them, have a big payout, and hopefully we get that 80 boat, maxed out. But I would rather have 50 teams with no issues and everyone have a good time than 100 teams and have to deal with a bunch of issues.
I agree 100%.
So I want to keep our events fun, high payouts, be transparent what we're doing with the money. Last year, or I don't know if it was last year or the year before, we had an issue come up. People are questioning it. I put all the receipts up for everything, every last freaking dime we spent preparing for that tournament. And we're not shy about it, not at all. Right. We have nothing to hide. That irritates some series. That's okay. The anglers are paying us money that they've worked for. There's no reason why we can't be honest about it.
Yes. People don't realize the time and money and effort it takes for the PR to produce a positive influence tournament.
Mm-hmm. And it's exactly
Right.
It's true. The time, not just for us, but for the sponsors. You take, like I said, I'll talk about our sponsors at the end. But one of our sponsors, Cat River Anchors. John and his wife are all over the place. They are trying to take care of the angler. They're trying to grow a business, and they're trying to do right by the angler. Some of these other events, they're getting their products out there, yeah, but it's cost, everything he gives away costs them money. And it's a small business, it's a growing business. And I know of just in Kansas how many of those little events he's supported. There's Missouri, there's Iowa, Nebraska, there's North Carolina. Those guys there are working. They put a lot of time in. They got to make their products, and then they got to deliver their products, and they got to talk to people on the phone about their products. There's a lot of time invested into supporting catfishing, and I don't think, a lot of people do recognize it. I don't think everyone does quite yet.
Thank you, Mark. Appreciate it. Tim, I want to shout out to one of your sponsors. And I usually don't do this, but the service I got from them the last couple of days has been outstanding. Mm-hmm. I've been looking for a certain type of fishing line for ultralights, and couldn't find it in my area. All the stores are out, sold out. Didn't know when they was going to have them back in. And I called up Macy's Fish and Find, actually sent them a message, and they had exactly what I wanted. So I ordered 2 rolls, and they couldn't take my information to get it shipped out right then. And I got that. Man, I've been in business. I understand how hectic that is. And when several hours later, when they contacted me, they'd already shipped it and then took my information so they could get paid on it. Mm-hmm. I was pretty impressed with that. And then today, I had seen an ad, but I couldn't make out heads or tails of price, size, nothing on the little image that I seen online about a stone for a live well for aeration. Mm-hmm. Again, sent them a message, and within just a few minutes, they had detailed information and pictures. And I wanted to know about putting rubber suction cups on the bottom of them. And everything that I wanted to know shortly. And I'd met them before, but hadn't done business with them before. But I was impressed enough that they'll get a lot more business from me from now on. And all that come through you, because I wouldn't have known about them probably or been so aware of them to call them if it hadn't have been through All American Catfish. But man, the service that come out of there was phenomenal.
Yeah, so that's great. You had that interaction with them, with the Stovers. We're revamping who we have sponsors, and we take a look at sponsors. And we've had sponsors in the middle of the season we just dropped. It's cordial, it's amicable. We're not blowing everyone up on. It's just not going to fit for us if we, in some cases, we gave it a shot. We hope their business was successful. It just wasn't for us.
Right.
We learned our lesson early on, just jumping on with anybody. I was new to it, and I jump on, and man, it was a freaking disaster. So yeah, now we're again, that is an example of Lyle gave me advice early on, and I didn't quite follow it, and I learned my lesson. So the sponsors of Macy's Fish and Find are the customer service there. They will pick up the phone, they'll call you, they'll message you, you can message them. They're always accessible. Their kids help them run the store. And what a lot of people don't realize, they have other things besides fishing products too. A lot of guys go up there and buy their bulk detergents and dog foods, pet foods from them. But there's where they're located at it. When people see it, they're surprised. These guys have what you're looking for. They're cat fishermen. They have, they fish. They have a big boat. They have all the equipment. They're out there on the river. They know how to use the stuff. Michael Stover will test it out, and when a reel goes out the door, he's looking at it. He's going to take it. He's going to look at it, make sure there's no issues with it. For most places, pick it off the shelf. I've been in Bass Pro where they're doing their online orders, and they're just pulling reels off the shelf, and they put them in a box and they send them. No one checked it. They just rely on the manufacturer to do it all. Michael checks yours.
Can somebody please put up a link to Macy's Fish and Find in chat? There's people wanting to know how to get a hold of them. Thank you, guys.
Been seeing some posts up on them and people sharing their stuff up lately.
Yeah,
I don't mean to interrupt you, Tim, but if they want to see it, I want to get that information to them.
Yeah, and we'll post all of our sponsor stuff on our web or our Facebook page. But Macy's Fish and Finds will take care of you. They got the top products. They just got the Platinum Award from Big Cat Fever, Catch the Fever, Platinum for the sales for and last year. They've taken care of us. They do their work. You know, they get the products in, they get it back out there, and they take care of their guys. You know, and that's not surprising what they did for you, Lyle. And out the door, people here in Kansas City will order something. It'll be in their mail that afternoon, and they'll have it the next day. And they're like, "What the heck?" You know, and for us, you know, I go up there and pick stuff up and bring it back for guys in Kansas City. It's a couple hours away from where I'm at, but they are good people. They'll take care of you. They just want to do right by the anglers, and sometimes, you know, people they're a little competitive, I guess. But these guys, they don't get wrapped up in it. They're just trying to run a business, a family business, teach their kids how to run the business, but at the same time, take care of all the people fishing. And they deliver, or they ship out everywhere. So you could be in Florida, you could be in Washington State. It doesn't matter. You know, they will give them a call, talk to them what they got, look at their page, Macy's Fish and Finds on Facebook, and if they've got it, they'll send it to you.
Yeah, I was really impressed. And like I say, Cindy and I drove up at last year or sometime to one of your tournaments. We hadn't been to one just to see the weigh-in, and met them up there. And we visited, you know, throughout the thing and never thought anything more about it. But I've been looking for this clear 6-pound line around here, and nobody's got it. No, of course, Docker, he's got it up in BFE, northeast Missouri, but I ain't planning on being up there no time soon. And somebody said, "Hey, Macy's got it." So I sent them a message. Sure enough, they got it. And
and they don't oversell you. That's what, you know, it's so nice about it. Here's what you want. And they'll if you answer them a question, they'll give you your honest answer about what they think. They don't oversell you. They don't like, "Hey, well, since you got that, do you need this? Do you want this pulley? This is a great." They don't do all that stuff. Just, here's what we got, you know, and they'll answer your question. They'll take care of you. They're not real aggressive, and I think that's what sits well with a lot of people.
Yep. Yeah, don't feel like you're dealing with a used car salesman.
That's right.
That's right.
Hey, Lyle.
Yes, sir.
We still got almost 100 people in here right now. Can you load the names up?
I can.
If you load the names up, I'll give away a pair of the brand new Ghost floats that I'm producing.
Let's do that. I'll get it up here in just one momento. Tim, I know that you have another project that you're working on. And I wanted to touch on that, and it really doesn't have anything to do with catfishing, but it intrigues me. James is going to love it because he used to race VWs. So tell us about your new projects you have with your dune buggy.
So, besides fishing, you know, being a low cost hobby, after my company closed its offices in Kansas City this year, I took it off and I was like, let's look around. And I've always wanted to race the mid 400 out in Vegas. And so I started kind of looking for a Baja to build and to go out there. And while I went out there to go look for a Baja, the guy's bugs were, you know, just not what I wanted, and walked in his barn. And I seen this nice, good-bodied, stripped down, pans done on it already, 62 Beetle. And so I said, all right, let's grab this thing here. So I bought that. Totally what I didn't go there to expect and to get. Towed it back a couple weeks later with all the parts, all original and everything. Had so that one there is like a 34 horsepower, 36 horsepower motor.
36.
And
36.
Yeah, it's 36. So I got a 1800 stroker put in it, built for it.
1835.
It's straight, yeah. And
1835.
Yeah, and it's got vintage, you know, nice exhaust from Vintage Speed. Built, and it's a Vintage Speeds out of Taiwan. It's high-end exhaust for it, all stainless. So I had that made, put on there, dual carbs, everything. It's see it
You
on
got a
Facebook.
set of dual 44s on it.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. So yeah, it's
That'll feed it.
yeah, it's ready to go. I mean, let me see here. The counterweighted 74 millimeter new forge and counterweighted 74
Run a
millimeter.
74.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I'm looking to see here. 110 cam filters, timing gear. Shoot. I mean, it's
Kind of rods it's running.
the rods are they're German rods. I don't have the name of them right here, but they're German rods.
Right. Yeah.
And
Carl Wells, it's not going on his boat. It's in a bug.
it's all it's you know, it's Uzi's car. She wanted it. She wanted it all chromed out and polished. So the engine's chrome and white. The body's going to be a high gloss black. It's got some nice wheels on it right now. And literally from earlier today, I was talking to Lyle, but since then, the owner of the store called me. This has been a project his store and another store and us have been working on for a while. And his staff was kind of him hauling around talking about different parts they have coming in for me and stuff like that. He's like, no, guys, he's not in a hurry. He's not rushing it. It's going to be a beautiful car.
Yeah.
And it's going to be, you know, it's going to be done right. But so we were talking about the parts and what we're going to do and the different transmission we're putting in there and everything else. And it's going to be cruising. It's going to have some good power.
Be sweet.
And,
Yeah.
I'm looking forward to it.
Yeah, I had a 62 rag that I had it down to about 980 pounds is what all it weighed.
It's a go-kart.
I was running an 1835 with dual 44s on there. She'd carry the front tires in second gear.
Yeah.
It's pretty fun.
She was wicked, man. But I didn't know enough back then. I didn't have enough sense to look into all beefing up all the supports around the transmission and all that. And I told Lyle when we was talking about it, he told me you got that. I said, yeah, I was running for $100 one night. When I grabbed second gear at about 6,000, it ripped the whole nose off the front of the transmission, beat the floor pan round, jumped up and down in the middle of the road. And yeah, it kind of tore that car all to pieces, but it was a 62 rag.
Yeah.
But you were still smiling, right?
Absolutely.
Oh, well, no, I had to give up the $100 too.
Lost the car and $100.
So why
Yeah.
the guy who the engine builder for us, you know, and he does performance, all racing engines and stuff. It's Wide Open Throttles out of Independence in Kansas City there, Independence or Missouri. You know, and they do it right. They take their time, they do it right, and everything's weighted and balanced. And yeah, I could slap together. We know how that is. You can get one, you can slap together. It may not be right, may get you a couple runs, and then you're rebuilding the freaking thing.
That's right.
You know?
I built mine on my kitchen table.
Mm-hmm.
And but everything was poured and polished, balanced. It was I run with a scat cranky, except I was running a 78 millimeter crank instead of 74. I had to have the case opened up and went with the street eliminator heads, 4237 intake valves. Yeah, she's pretty wicked. I enjoyed it, but in fact, the motor guys still got the motor. I had to sell the motor and junk the car, much as I hated junking a 62. But
we're converting it from drum to disc brakes.
There you go.
So
that's the best thing you can do.
Go fast, you got to stop quick too sometimes.
Yeah.
So the engine's been sitting up in their shop, and he said, "Man, everyone comes in just to look at it." And I was there when they first got the exhaust in and put it on there, and sure enough, there's people standing around. Just came in. Where's that thing at? Because they posted the pictures online. A lot of people don't know I like cars, especially bugs. They found out this year, and so if I had more room, I'd have bought that Baja I was talking about.
Yeah, I'd like to have that too, but I don't have the room either. How about we give away some bobbers?
That worked.
I got them all loaded up. Tim, pick me out a number between 1 and 5, please.
3.
1, 2, 3. And the winner is Big Slim 91. Congratulations. And folks,
congratulations, my friend.
We have 100 people in chat, or we have 96 people watching the show. Not that many in chat, But anytime we do giveaways of any time, any kind throughout the year, that has to be, to win, you have to be subscribed to Catfish Weekly. So if you're not a subscriber and you want a chance to win, subscribe, like, share, do all the stuff for us, because if you're in watching the show, you don't have to say anything. We know you're watching the show because your name comes up on my screen, and we will grab all those names and throw them in when we do a giveaway. Now, if you're not a subscriber, you can't get in on that. So if you have a chance, if you care about what we do, if you like what we do, and to continue to have these quality guests like Tim with All American Catfish, be sure to like and subscribe, and then you can get a chance to win also. And now we have over 100 likes on this show. I would like to give away a set of, or one of the, I'm going to give away 2 of the CPR decals to one person. And if you guys will give me a second here, I'm going to load them up again, and we'll give them away, because with over 100 people watching the show still this late in the night, and 107 likes, I think that's a great time to do that, don't you, James?
Sound like a winner to me.
Cindy got a fishing rod out here. I'm afraid she's gonna whoop me with this thing.
Can they see it?
And guys and gals, if you win something, make sure you contact us within a timely manner, so we don't have to wait, because we're not going to hunt you down. It's your prize. You want it. So contact us, but you can contact me at James Smith or at Patriot Catfish of America, or text, either one you want to do.
Yep. And the same way with Catfish Weekly stuff.
Right.
So, Tim,
and thank you for supporting us.
I didn't talk to you guys beforehand, but I'll get with you and we can set a date up when you want to do it, but we'll give away one free entry to our Heartland Challenge with that $10,000 added money. We'll give an entry away.
Wow.
It's a $200 entry, so that'll help somebody out. We're going to give one free entry away, because the Chiefs made it to the Super Bowl. We're going to do that Wednesday night. Those names are already set aside, and then we'll get with you on another date closer to that event, and we'll give one of those things away.
Man, that's outstanding. So and that comes out of Tim's pocket. So any of you guys that are interested in fishing that Heartland Challenge, be sure to pay attention when we post up the next date that Tim will be on this show, and we're going to give that away. Tim, thank you so much. I'm going to go ahead and get entered in that. The sad part is I can't win that. We can't win our own stuff. Kind of hate that, but you know what? It's going to be fun anyhow. I'm talking to Mark, and he's been wanting to fish a tournament. He's never fished a tournament ever, and I think that would be a really fun one for him to.
I think it'll be set up. Yeah.
Let's give this away. Give me another number.
2.
1.
Christian Brown says she want a piece of my birthday cake.
I'd like to have that too, but Mad Catter Catfishing.
Cool.
Mad Catter Catfishing. If you will contact me after the show and send me your information, I'm going to send you 2 of the CPR decals that are up in the right-hand corner of the screen. People really seem to like those, and we're going to get another bunch of them ordered here. It amazes me how quick we run out of stuff, and Katie gets them back to me. But and don't forget about our poundage club, 10, 20, 30, 40, 50, 60, up to 90. If you get 100, we'll have her make one, but so far nobody's got that yet. The first one's on us, and after that, they're on you. So be sure to jump in on that if you catch some fish that you're proud of, and let us know. What else we got to talk about tonight, Tim?
Well, I want to thank you guys for coming on here and everyone in chat and supporting you. I mean, you're always doing a lot for catfishing and helping guys, like little guys like me, get our word out there a little bit more and helping us grow our events. So I appreciate that. You've always helped us. Our sponsors, Macy's Fishing's Fine. It's, you guys check them out. You can, they're on our page. We'll post a link to their group and everything. Our other sponsors are like Parks Planer Boards. I use their planer boards. They have crappie boards, they have lake boards, they have river boards, different sizes. He's got other products he's making, another good small business. He's got he really takes care of tournaments as much as he can. You can buy his products also in Macy's Fish and Fine. John Nord, Cat River Anchors, he's going to be back with us this year, and we're going to give away a couple of his anchors, and he's going to have some gift certificates to help people give a choice. So we want to thank him as a sponsor. Visit Kansas City, Kansas. It's a big one for us. They added all that money into Kansas City, and what they did is they gave us. We asked. There's a long story behind it, but we got $10,000 from them. We set $2,500 aside to cover all the expenses for security and all the parking fees and all that kind of overflow stuff, and then our sponsors made up the rest. That money may grow more, but right now we're at $10,000. And so we want to thank Kansas City, Kansas for doing that. There's going to be several events in Kansas City this year. It is going to be our anchor. And I know a lot of people say, why don't you go out east? Why don't you go down south? There's a very low profit margin for us, and we try to account for everything. But there's plenty of events out there. If those events out there want help, we don't mind promoting them on our page. We promote a lot of series on our page because they share our events too. And we hope they grow too. So there's a lot of events out there for other people to fish. They don't just have to be ours. And let's help to grow them. And so, those sponsors, again, Macy's Fish and Fine, Parks Planer Boards, Cat River Anchors, Visit Kansas City, and last but not least, River Rats Reel Repair. They have taken care of our guys a lot with their reels. In fact, they were just messaging me today. They've got some of our reels that are all done. Eddie Henny's and mine. They're going to get back. So Cindy Ritter, you can message them and she'll get back with you. And they take care of the anglers. They're really fast. Everyone loves their products when they get back.
Great work.
Just for the record, they fixed my reel and cleaned it up really quick. It took a lot of extra work to fix and clean Eddie Henny's reels. We won't go into the details for that, but they were used.
Yeah.
But it's a good guy, and they're funny. They're fun people, and it's a good business. And everyone's got reels out there that needs clean. Now's the time to get it done before you start putting them to work this year.
That's great.
There you go.
Carl Wells says Southeast Texas tournament on Lake Conroe this Saturday. Bring your heaters. He would know. He lives right down there. Folks, I'm sorry you guys had to see the Judy Booty stuff. I think I got them deleted off of here. I will not tolerate that. I have people that are moderators that are specifically hand chosen to get rid of them, but for some reason they can't eliminate them. I can, and when I see them, you're out of here. I'm not going to tolerate none of that. This is a family show. We try to keep it that way as much as we possibly can, but every once in a while, we get one of them ass hats that slips in there on us, and they're out of here, and hopefully they won't be back.
Yeah. Thank you, Twisted. Yeah, Lyle, I didn't. It got past me, so I didn't get to see what they said. But
well, bless James is hard. He was trying to time him out and time him out, and I guess that he doesn't have the removal power that I do because he's now history. Or whatever.
Anyone out there on the chat's got a tournament that they want us to share, they can message it to me. We have on our images, on our media files, on our page, our Facebook group, we're putting all the images, all the tournament trails and their schedules on there. So people can just go there and check them all and see what's there. So we don't mind sharing them. If they got something, send it to me and I'll post it out.
Yeah. I used to do that for everybody, any and everybody, but I do have a criteria now you have to meet and some things that you can't be a part of for me to share stuff with them. Because
that's a good point too.
I just won't tolerate any of that nonsense. So, Tim, I can't thank you enough for coming on. We had a great time with you tonight, and it was an awesome show, even though we did get to hear about Judy's booty. Happy birthday, James. I know it's been an awesome.
Thank you, sir.
I had a great time with you on here. And for all of our viewers, be sure to tune in next Monday night. Let me check right quick to make sure I get this right. I don't want to be wrong about it. But next Monday night, Robbie Moreno is going to be on our show. He's the young guy that was in the show with Kevin on Catfish on Palmetto Cats the other night, tying the knots. I was really impressed with him. And for us to do good things for the future of catfishing, we need to keep these young people as a part of that. So he's going to spend 20, 30 minutes on here with us. We might get tying knots. We might talk about fishing. It's hard to say, but we're going to have a good time. So thank you guys for watching and everything. You've been a part of the show. We appreciate it so much, and we'll see you next Monday night. And don't forget, Thursday night, after James Dockery and Chad, we are going to have Panfish Weekly. See you then.
Hey, Lyle.
Yes.
Guess who I'm having Wednesday night? I'm having a great couple.
About that. Yeah, I'm sorry.
You're fine. I just want to shout it out so they can come in. I haven't had guests in a while, but I'm having a great couple coming on there. Miss Jolena Long Hoffman, her husband, and her fishing partner will be on Patriot Talk Show Wednesday night. So come join us, guys.
And that'll be a great show. We've had them on Catfish Weekly. They're outstanding guests. The two women can put some fish in the boat, but not to be outdone by the husband.
Yeah, I'm sure there's a little competition goes on between them, don't you think, Lyle?
They are super. You guys will have a blast. I can't wait to watch them, or I can be part of the audience and not part of the show, because they are super folks.
Tim, we thank you for coming on tonight, my friend. You shared a lot of great information. If anything we can do on our side to help you keep doing what you're doing, just let us know, my friend.
I sure will. Appreciate it.
Night, everybody.